Two people, same building, same rent. One makes $95,000 a year. The other makes $52,000. One feels broke every single month. The other could stop working for over a year. And no, it's not luck. Walk into the first apartment. It looks like success. A massive TV on the wall, a luxury couch, closets overflowing, boxes still unopened. Everything looks expensive. Everything looks right. But watch this. Every time they open their banking app, they hesitate. Just for a second. Like they already know what's coming. That quiet stress, that low-level panic. They're not broke on paper, but in real life, they're one mistake away from falling apart. Now walk into the second apartment. It feels different immediately. Simpler, cleaner, lighter. There's space. Nothing extra, nothing wasted. And the person living here sleeps peacefully, invests every single month, doesn't avoid checking their bank account because they don't have to. They have 18 months of expenses saved. And here's the part that doesn't make sense. They earn almost half. Same building, same opportunities, completely different lives. So what's really going on here? Because it's not income. It's something invisible. Something most people never even think about. Look back at the first apartment. That TV, that couch, that treadmill in the corner. It hasn't been used in months, but it's still costing them every single day. Because here's the truth. Every single thing you own charges you twice. First cost, the price tag, easy. Second cost, the one you never see. The space it takes, the maintenance it needs, the attention it demands, the money it could have become. That treadmill, it's quietly increasing their monthly pressure. That $15,000 setup, it didn't just cost money, it cost options. And this is exactly what's filling that first apartment. Not just stuff, pressure. The shift most people never make. The second person sees things differently. Before they buy anything, they pause. Not to ask, can I afford this, but something more dangerous. How often will I actually use this? Because they know a cheap thing used twice is more expensive than an expensive thing used daily. That's why their space feels calm, not empty, controlled. Now imagine this. You wake up tomorrow and half your stuff is gone. Would you go out and buy it again? Be honest. Because most people wouldn't. Which means you're not surrounded by things you chose. You're surrounded by things you never questioned. And if this feels uncomfortable, that's a good sign. Because most people never question this. What's really keeping the first person stuck? Go back to the first apartment. Nothing there is broken. The phone works, the TV works, everything works, but it keeps getting replaced. Not because it's needed, because it's boring. And boredom is one of the most expensive habits in the world. This is exactly how their income disappears without them noticing. The second person doesn't rely on discipline. They don't try harder. They just make bad decisions harder to make. No saved cards, no instant checkouts, no impulse buying. Because they understand something simple. If you don't act immediately, most desires disappear. At one point, they counted everything they owned. Clothes, shoes, random items, and it shocked them. Not because they had too little, but because they had way too much. And once you see that number, you can't unsee it. Here's what was really happening in the first apartment. They weren't buying things, they were buying versions of themselves. The disciplined version, the successful version, the better version. But those versions didn't last. The purchases did. That's why the space is full, but still feels off. And it doesn't stop there. Every purchase pulls in more purchases. Nothing comes alone. Buy one thing, and suddenly you need 5 more to support it. That's how a few decisions turn into a lifestyle you're forced to maintain. Here's the real difference between these two people. The second person decided what enough looks like, before life decided for them. So when they earn more, they don't upgrade their life, they expand their freedom. Meanwhile, the first person, every raise disappears. Look at both lives again. One has more stuff, the other has more options. And that's the real definition of wealth. The ability to walk away. From a job, from stress, from situations you don't want. If you can't do that, you're not rich. You're restricted. The second person didn't do anything extreme. They just never let things pile up again. A few things removed every single week. That's it. But over time, completely different life. Now zoom out. There are only 2 paths this goes. Path 1, spend, stress, spend more, stay stuck. Path 2, save, security, spend less, gain control. And the scary part? Most people think they're on the second path while living the first. Here's what everything comes down to. You don't actually want more stuff. You want what you think it gives you. Security, control, peace. But those don't come from things. They come from what you didn't spend. So go back to those 2 apartments. Same building, same rent, same opportunities, but completely different lives. Not because of income, but because of decisions no one notices. One is full of things, the other is full of freedom. And in the end, freedom will always feel better than looking rich. So ask yourself honestly, are you building a life that looks successful, or a life you can actually live?